What's going on, you guys? Slim here with a new video today, and today, you guys, we're going to talk about what I personally feel are the top 5 meta decks for this June 2022 format. Our ban list has come past. We've got YCS Hartford behind us, and we're basically just going to be in this format for the foreseeable future. If you guys remember, the ban list literally said, I think we're not getting an update till December. That's pretty crazy. We have nationals coming up. We have other YCSs coming up and stuff like that. So we just really have to prepare for what this meta is. And while this format may be crazy, I think there's a lot of just really good decks right now, and I think that we can just discuss ones that I feel will really just be the best decks, the best options for you guys that are going to nationals. You already know your boy's going. Hopefully I'll see you guys over there. And yeah, based on, you know, the YCS Hartford results and stuff like that, we'll be able to gather more and more information on what the best decks of the formats are. But as you guys already know, if you're new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. You want to support the channel, TCG player links in the description below whenever you're buying cards, stuff like that. Follow any of my links down below to support the channel. You guys already know. I don't want to waste any time. Before we get to the top 5 though, I have 2 honorable mentions. I felt that I could not make this list, even though I wanted to just be a top 5. I had to mention these 2 decks based on the performance from YCS Hartford, and they are actually Drytron and Sky Striker. Now I know a lot of players will say Sky Striker 1, it's got to be the best deck in the format. Yes and no. I feel that obviously it was a very good meta call. I think Poe made a really good meta call. Mystic Mine really is a problem. It is a huge problem in the format, and it was exploited to the 10th degree at this YCS. So many decks that top did play the card. I played the card myself. I played it at my regional. I played a single copy of it in my Flunderies deck, and the card can steal games. Like, it's not even up for debate. A lot of decks, especially b.a.s.e.d, don't have a main decked out game 1, so you're able to just literally capitalize on that, and it's pretty crazy. I think that his strategy to focus on Mystic Mine as a way to just accrue advantage with Sky Striker, and then being able to just capitalize on, you know, just the deck out ability as well that you have with that card. It was just crazy. It stole him a lot of games, and then he played a lot of trap cards, and it really did you know, elevate Striker to that level. There were 2 versions of the deck, him and his teammate, that were able to make top 8, and then of course Poe winning. So I think the deck is very, very strong. Again, I don't think it's the best deck. I think that it was just a very good meta call for the time being, but just definitely had to put it there as an honorable mention. And same with Drytron. Shout out to Justin Singh, and also there was another player that got top 16 with Drytron. I think a lot of people just kind of forgot about Drytron. They realized that now with 2 Ben 10, there's a lot you can do. I believe one of the builds was running the Battle Lord, Battle Lord Ritual Monster that we've seen in some of the builds that I featured on the channel before from my boy Noah. There's definitely you know, a lot to be said with Drytron. Again though, it did run Mystic Mine. This YCS Hartford that passed really was a YCS of Mystic Mine, and it's pretty crazy, but I definitely don't want to take away from Drytron. Justin's a very skilled player, and I think he just built a very, very strong strategy that I think a lot of people were not respecting. Droll should be in this format. I feel that it's very important, not only against Ben 10 and stuff like that, but you do have the Allure build of b.a.s.e.d, which has gained a lot of popularity thanks to Pack and the luxury players and a lot of players that have seen success with it, and being able to just draw so many cards, search so many cards based off what you banish is pretty crazy. And I think Droll can really, you know, come in and kind of stun the format again. It's also good against Flunderies and other decks based on the interaction. It's good against Rogue, against Trick Stars, because, you know, Light Stages it too. And I mean, you just never know. You might actually see Trick Stars here or there. I know Bortle got top 8 at one of the regionals playing the deck, so definitely don't count that deck out. But those are my 2 honorable mentions. Now we're going to get into the main decks that I feel are the top 5 for this format. Number 5, I have my personal favorite, Flunder. Yes, I'm a Flunderies player. You guys know this. I played it at the regionals. Got top 32 with it. Was happy with it. Definitely wanted to top. Was 1 win away from topping, and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I think the deck is absolutely insane. I think it's just a very, very good control deck. I think that just it's very simple in what it's trying to accomplish. Ending on M-Pen and the statue with the trap and the field spell is just so strong. It just really can cripple a lot of the format. It does struggle going second. That's why I have it at number 5. But I think that the deck is very, very you know, well equipped to combat the format. Cards like Unexplored Winds really do answer a lot of problems. Having a built-in out to mine is fantastic, and being able to you know, just kind of tribute away anything that really gets in our way is just fantastic. So I definitely have Flunder at number 5. I want to see more players play it. I know Zombie World is a hindrance, but you just have to account for that card. That's one thing that I've always said, especially with this deck, is that you have to account for Zombie World. You know the decks that can play it, you know what to side to get rid of it, and you know, you just got to go from there. We've seen his success at the Pasadena Regionals, my boy Lawrence, and other players that were able to find success with it, and I definitely think that You know, in the hands of the right pilot, Flunder can definitely be one of the best decks of the format. Coming in at number 4, this was actually hard. 4 and number 3, I really wasn't sure where to put them, but I'll put them both up here now. So for 4 and 3, I literally have the base deck, the new version of b.a.s.e.d, or the Punk Therion deck. The Punk like combo / Therion deck. You've seen them all like on the channel as well as other channels. You've seen the success that they've had at YCS Hartford and stuff like that. I didn't really know where to put them, which one is better than the other. You know, you can base it on the stats of how many decks did well at the YCS, but I think the new version of b.a.s.e.d is pretty crazy. You're still able to Scythe Lock. You're still able to do what the deck does. You're able to Scythe Lock and then go into a Baron. That's very, very strong against most decks of the format. You can play through multiple hand traps, and I think the deck is just very well positioned. Again, in the hands of the right pilot, you'll definitely see success. If you saw Dominic Couch's list that I do have on the channel as the latest upload, you'll definitely see his take on the deck, and I think it's very strong. The Punk Therion decks that we had that did find success, Kyle's deck that found success at our Pasadena Regionals, I think that it was just a good template to get players started with that deck, and I think that they're very strong and definitely something you want to, you know, like kind of prepare for and just, you know, pay attention to in the rest of this format. The Punk cards are great extenders. The Therion cards, if you do decide to play them, can just add Omni Negate, and that's just fantastic and just very consistent for what the deck does. And I didn't know where to put them each, so you could tell me which one you think is better. Is it b.a.s.e.d or is it the Punk / Therion / Wombo combo decks as far as the format goes? And then we're getting into number 2 and number 1, and again, this is hard. A lot of players might switch these. It could be based on, you know, if you're basing it on Hartford, based on how many there were in Top Cut. I do have number 2 being Sword Soul. The reason is I still feel b.a.s.e.d is still the superior deck. Now that could be argued that because of the representation at the YCS, Sword Soul is better. However, I think that b.a.s.e.d is still just very well positioned. Branded Fusion is crazy, being able to play cards like Branded Lost where your opponent just can't respond. You're able to crack a lot of boards quite easily. I was watching a deck profile that Farfa had with one of the really good players. And he was just talking about how the deck is able to not even use its engine cards to really just break, you know, boards and stuff like that. And that the deck can go first, the deck can go second, and it can capitalize. And I think that's really what you want in a deck. Granted, it does get hard countered by cards like D-Barrier and stuff like that. But, you know, you could say the same thing for Sword Soul. I think Sword Soul is, again, very well positioned. Shout out to my boy Grim YGO. He ended up getting top 4 with Sword Soul. I think that the deck is just very well positioned still. The fact that it got Desires back to 2 is actually crazy. That made a huge difference, and as soon as that second Desires came in, we saw a lot more people playing the deck. So I definitely think that in the hands of the right pilot, it's definitely easily just the second best deck of the format, and it's a deck that will see more players piloting. It's very strong. People play it in Master Duel as well, even though it's a separate format. It's like the best deck in Master Duel, and I can easily see more Sword Soul players migrating that over to IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! And just really finding a lot of success with the deck. The synchros are really strong, and I think the deck is here to stay for a very, very long time. Token collectors in the format, D-Bearers in the format, they account for those cards and they still find success. And last but not least, of course, it's b.a.s.e.d. So b.a.s.e.d, you can play the Allure build, you can play the non-Allure build, you can play the Predaplant build. There are so many different variants you can go with this deck. If you saw Jesse and Pax take on the Predaplant deck with the b.a.s.e.d engine, that is another cool way to play the deck. Again, you just have a lot of options. Branded Fusion is a hell of a card. Branded Opening is a hell of a card. Branded Lost is still a hell of a card. Like, not being able to respond is pretty crazy. Like, Ash Blossom is your best friend, and if you don't have any, if you have like Bell, Crow, any of that stuff, you can't do anything, so it's pretty crazy. You can make the argument that b.a.s.e.d isn't the best. The reason why is a lot more players were prepared for it this time around. I noticed that at Pasadena, the regionals, it did get bullied. I use that term a lot because I felt that the deck just underperformed, but it's because so many players are prepared for it. You could say the same thing for YCS Hartford, but I definitely think players will continue to work with the deck and innovate it and prepare for things that they already prepared for before. We've seen some builds that incorporate Crosse Ave in the main deck to deal with D-Bear, to deal with Ash Blossom and hand traps that actually do slow the deck down. And once they find the right formula for it, I think we'll definitely see success. It did get second place at the YCS, so definitely don't count it out. It did finish higher than Sky Striker at the end of the day, and even Sky Striker, then Sword Soul at the end of the day. And even though it did lose to Striker in the finals, I still think it's definitely the best deck of the format. But that's my thoughts, you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think the top 5 decks of the format are. Am I correct? Which order would you put them in? I had a hard time with a couple of them because, you know, some of these decks I think are just very well positioned. It's just kind of hard to decide where to put them right now, but I definitely like where the format is going. I think that there's a lot of potential. Mystic Mine is a problem. It definitely is, but we do have to account for it. We can't really make, you know, we can't whine about it like we've had with other cards in the past. they'll deal with it when they choose to deal with it, if they deal with it. And until then, we just as players have to, you know, just adapt like we always do. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you did. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.
Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and a special thanks to all my patrons. It's because of you, after all these years, I'm still able to make this type of content. Hopefully you guys will check out some of the videos that are suggested here for you. And just remember, you guys, it's not just a game, it's a lifestyle. Thanks for watching.